I came from China. I used to be a lecturer in the college, so I'm appreciated to be standing here again in front of the students. I'm 50 years old. I have a daughter here in Denmark, just graduated from a master's degree in Denmark, and she's married. She's 27 years old. This is the city I used to stay. It is in the central of China, a very big city called Wuhan. I was a practitioner of a kind of a traditional Chinese meditation called Falun Gong. This practice just started in China in 1992, and it was popularized in 1995. It has a principle called truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. That's the principle of this meditation. It has 5 exercises, 4 with movements of hands, standing in the same place, and another is a kind of conditional instep, doing a conditional instep. Just sit there, very peacefully and calmly. And this do have a very strong effect on the health. I used to be very weak physically and hospitalized twice a month. So because of illness. So after I practiced, all this illness just gone within half of a year. So this really very good. But in 1999, it got banned in China. Why it is banned in China? The direct reason is it used to be very popular in China. Almost 100 million people practice this. The number of the practitioners are much more bigger than the members of Chinese Communist Party. Can you understand this? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the Chinese Communist Party is the only party who take the power in China. And they take this kind of practice as a kind of threat of the power. So it is banned. This is the direct reason. So from that time on, my nightmare started. The sad story started. This is in Wuhan city. These activities we have practice in the public. In 2008, it was a kind of winter vacation. Normally we have 1 year. And in 2008, that was very cold in China. Maybe that was the coldest winter in the latest 10 years. It was very heavy snow. We booked a room in a hotel. It would be warm for the children to learn. Their parents are all practitioners, just like me. We had 12 children. The eldest will be 16 years old, and the youngest will be 3 years old. They came along with their parents. But this kind of family gathering was reported as a kind of illegal gathering of cults. Do you know cults? Cult. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a normal family gathering, but reported like this. And then the police just crashed into the door and then isolate the children from their parents. All children were shocked and they are frightened. No. And from that time on, I was arrested. From that time on, I spent 7 years in prison. In 2008 until 2015, I was released in January this year and came to Denmark in June.
So in this class, you were teaching English to the children?
That was not a class. They just want to learn English with me.
Yeah, I know, but yeah. It was a sort of...
Yes, a kind of class. Yes, family gathering. You know, family, because we are friends, and her children would like to learn English with me. Just this. We do not have to pay. You know, it's free of charge. A kind of family gathering. Just this. And then first I was sent to the Brainwash Center. So this is a new word for Westerners who know brainwash. Officially, they named this kind of place as a kind of law study center. But actually, when you sent there, you lost your freedom. No one would know the place. No one would know where you were. And they would not notice your family. Then you just disappear. you were isolated in a small room. You were not allowed to go out of the room, and you were forced to listen to the tapes and read the books. They force you to carry out the practice. I was sent to the Brainwash Center for 2 months. At that time, I was very weak because my stomach just was bleeding, and I could not sleep and I could not sit. So I feel so bad at that time. And then one day, 2 ladies came along with me. They had a very long talk with me and asked me to write something down. So I could not remember what they said to me, and I could not remember what I wrote, but I just did it accordingly with my eyes open. And then after that, I was very weak. Several days later, the leader of the Brainwash Center came. He said to me, "Oh, congratulations. I'm so glad that you give up the practice." I said, "What?" Then he showed me what I wrote, showed me the paper, what I wrote. So how do you do that? How could you do that? He said, because I was weak, I could not speak very clearly and I could not sit up straight. And he said, don't worry about your physical health. We just put some drugs in your food. It's okay. A few days later, you will recover. He said, this is the guarantee you will not practice anymore. As a practitioner, if you break your promise, you will disobey the morality.
Forstod det, at Marion hun fik simpelthen narkotika, fik stoffer, som gjorde, at hun blev syg, og hendes mave blev ødelagt, for at nedbryde hende så meget, så hun kunne sige, nej, jeg vil ikke praktisere for nogle gange mere.
Magthaverne er bange for, fordi der er så mange, der gør det, at det er trusligt.
After that, I got fainted. I lost my consciousness for a whole afternoon, and then this frightened them. They sent me to the hospital, and the medical check found out that my stomach was completely infusion. Yeah, got infusion. And then they suggested me to have a operation as soon as possible, and asked my family members to present to sign for the operation. But this kind of people, they tell the doctor, they were my family members. They cheated the doctor. And then I did not need any operation. So I just stayed in hospital 5 days and got some infection, and then sent me out to the Brainwash Center. 1 week later, and then the leader came, said, okay, you can go home now. But after I got the place, I realized it was detention house, not my home. I was treated again. So I got the sentence for 7 years. I spent 1 year and 2 months in the detention house, and then got the sentence, and I was then delivered to the prison. Yeah. So while I was in detention house, I still was not very conscious, myself, because I was too weak. I could not stand up steadily. I had to do very heavy labor work at that time. 2 months later, I gradually recovered the consciousness, and I realized what happened on me. I just got rebelling, and after I got the sentence, I just refused to accept this kind of illegal sentence. I just tried to complain. So I wrote the complaint letter to the superior court. I will not accept this. But still, I got the superior sentence again. They did not accept my complaint. So I was sent to the prison. 7 years was a very hard time. What I want to express, not only not the physical torture, I just want to mention how they brainwashed me. In prison, I was monitored by 2 or 3 prisoners. That means I was the prisoner of the prisoners. I was not allowed to speak to anyone else, even their prisoners. I was not allowed to buy daily necessities. Even the napkins for the monthly periods.
Menstruationsbind, det var
No.
gut.
Yeah.
Ingen menstruationsbind.
I was not allowed to meet my family members. I was not allowed to write letters, to make phone calls. But all these kind of things are some basic conditions should be given to the prisoners. Other prisoners, they could have, but I could not. And even I was forbidden to go to the toilet. I should have to hold back my urine until I give up. They try use this way. And even I was not allowed to smile to anyone else. So this is something very cruel, you know. Smile is something, you know, as a practitioner, you keep peace and calm your heart. You always have a smile, wear a smile on your face to be kind to people. But this I'm not allowed in prison. Whenever someone smiles to me, or they just have some show they want to talk to me, this one will get punishment by the warders in prison. And the monitors, this kind of prisoner who monitored me, they got the reward of the commutation, just reduce the sentence. They use this way to make you down, to give up the practice.
Forstår I det der med, mens hun var i fængsel, var der andre fanger, hvis opgave var at styre hende og holde øje med hende og sørge for, at hun ikke måtte gøre alle de ting, hun kom ind på før. Så det lyder som sådan noget, vi måske kender i Tyskland under krigen eller sådan noget. Det var bare rigtig forfærdeligt. So how come, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are you special member of Falun Gong, or is it all that follows the teaching of Falun Gong that goes to prison like you did?
Actually, Falun Gong is a kind of free practice. If I can do the practice, I would teach anyone else who would like to learn. So we are all common practitioners.
You're all equal, you're not
Equal.
special.
We don't have leaders.
No.
Because this is a large group of people in China, so at the very beginning, the authorities, they ask people, you should select someone to have an organization of this kind of group of people. So this is just something forced by the authorities, but actually people are equal. We don't have any leaders or instructors. No, we don't have this. The same. We are the same. Okay. Yeah.
Can I ask? Jeg lige tænker mig, jeg selv en Danish først, og spørge, om hun var sådan konstant overvåget den her periode, hvor hun var i fængsel. Were you under constant surveillance when you were in prison? Or did you have time where you could be yourself without somebody watching?
No. Even go to the toilet.
Okay.
Every minute. 24 hours. So the first day when I was released on the street with my brother and the sister-in-law, you know, I go to the toilet, I almost cried because no one monitored me anymore. You know. So in the prison, there was a letterbox for a prisoner to deliver the complaint letter. So I keep up complaining in prison, but they didn't deliver the letters for me, the warders. So I tried my best to deliver by myself because I was monitored. It's very hard for me to do that. So I just look up for a chance to deliver letter to the letterbox, and then as soon as I put it in, and then the prisoners all came up to me, and I just pulled my hands in different directions, you know, and tore my shirts and stepped out my trousers, and then black and blue in my body. So that's something happened on my physical. And in 2013, a special group formed in the prison by the warders to brainwash me because I was the only one keep up complaining in the prison and became the toughest one. So they were afraid that I set an example for other practitioners in prison. So in this way, They formed a special group. And they studied my characters, my education, my background, my family, my marriage, my children, everything they studied. And then they came up to me. And they tried to make a kind of psychological offensiveness against me. And they used the kind of carrots and sticks way. Do you know carrots and sticks?
Stokker, gulerod.
Ja, ikke? Udover at stokke. Rose på den ene side og true på den anden side.
Yeah. So, you know, almost 2 years I was forbidden to have the normal rights as other prisoners. And then suddenly, one day, they were very kind to me. You are allowed to buy things as others. You were treated as the same as other prisoners. And then you will feel very happy. You know, feel, oh, people are very kind still, you know. But actually, this is not real. This is a kind of deal that you have to exchange something for this kind of kindness. That is, you have to give up your practice to write down again the promise, this time with consciousness. So, I refused. Actually, at last I realized this, and then they put sticks on you. What is that? That's the threatening. If you are not doing accordingly, you will not get freedom after you are released. You will be sent to the brainwash center directly again, and if you refuse to sign, you will be sent back to the prisoner again, the rest of life, in this way. So actually, many people cannot endure this because they are facing something very, how to say, they cannot choose, you know, they don't want to lose freedom anymore after they get released. So it's a very hard decision to make. You are facing your future. How is that? So just in that class, a student asked me a question. Why you didn't you pretend to give up and then you insisted in your heart?
Ja, hvorfor lød Marian ikke bare som om, at hun opgav Falun Gong praksis og bare sådan løg over for myndighederne? Det forklarer hun så nu, hvorfor.
You cannot. You could not do that. Because as I could see in prison, some practitioners, they did this, but what happened on them, that was terrible. Because when you pretend to give up, you sign something, and then you were forced to repeatedly to give up the public speeches to tell lies. That Falun Gong is a kind of cheating, is a kind of chaos, and I was cheated by Falun Gong, all these kind of things. Repeatedly, continuously, until you yourself lost your dignity, lost your consciousness, self-awareness, a kind of judgment, until you lost yourself, and you really yourself believe that. So that was a kind of thing much more terrible than you insisted on. You know, because at that time you are not yourself. You are not a human. You are just a robot, just to obey. So that's why I didn't agree to do that. So I insisted on. But I didn't know how to get through that, actually, at that time. So when they just forced me, give all the pressures on me, the moment I wrote, what you asked me to do is a kind of making use of my morality. This is evilness. This is inhumanity. It will have no effect on me. It is not valid. As a normal human, if you keep your morality, right? So you have to keep up your promise. But this is not something from your heart. This is a force. And someone just make use of your morality to do that. So this is evilness. This is not morality. So it doesn't have any effect on me. I didn't know what will happen on this. I just wrote this and then said, I won't do anything else. because I was forced to read books, to listen to the tapes, have to write all the feelings after you read this kind of cheating books. So I wrote almost 6 this thick exercise books, the essay, to fight against all the theories of that. 6. So, and then I just said that I won't do anything else. That is how I get through from this almost 4 months, isolated from anyone else. It was really hard, It's much more terrible than the torture on your body, because you lost your consciousness and all the pressures on that. It's much more severe than the death in that way, actually. Hitler just destroyed the body of Jews, but he didn't destroy the views, the thinking of people, the human. But CCP, they just destroy your minds, your spirit. So that is much more severe in China. So you can see the war in Syria with weapons and guns, but you could not see the war happening in China without weapons. It's a kind of war of humanity against the evilness. It's a kind of war of democracy against the dictatorship. I don't know if you can understand dictatorship.
Det du siger der, i Kina har man diktatur. Så det er en kamp. Den kamp, der foregår i Kina, er mellem menneskelighed eller ret til at være sig selv, og et diktatur, der jo som det er i Kina, vil bestemme alt. Det er det parti, der bestemmer alting, og de sætter folk i fængsel, hvis man mener noget andet, end de gør.
So that's what I experienced the mental torture in history. Of course, 7 years, that was a very long time, a lot of stories because of the time limitation. So I just want to share this part with everyone here. The brainwash will never happen in Western countries. So as young people, you are sitting here while you have the class, you can discuss how to have this class with your teachers, But in China, this will never happen. We were taught and trained to obey, always. We are not allowed to have our own views, especially for the age of mine. I'm 50 years old, So maybe nowadays, young people have a better situation, but not as well as in the Western countries. So you don't know how happy you are when you can freely to tell yourself to have your own views, to give the criticize to all the things around. You don't know how happy you are.